Are we rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Governor.
Oh, I feel so fat. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. Happy previous Thanksgiving. Oh my God, I ate so much.
Happy sloth recovery day.
Right. So, no real major topic today. It's just
Miss you.
Yeah, so I haven't been doing a lot of videos, but
It got crazy. Pagan Pride was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think we covered that with Thomas.
Yeah, you know, he was a fun guest to have out. So if you're watching this, hey.
Hey, girl.
What else?
After Pagan Pride, you were up north.
After Pagan Pride, I went to New Mexico.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't go up north until after that.
Yeah.
My bad. Ooh, craziness.
It was just a couple of days where after Pagan Pride, recovered somewhat, and then we took off to Mexico for a day.
Went to visit family.
And then I went up north. We came back into town. I was here for about 1 day, and then I took off again. Then I got back on Sunday.
And we've been cleaning. We now have a temple room that we're putting together.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, our little temple space, and we'll show a video of it later. It's still kind of messy and in the works right now.
Yeah, because this isn't even going to be in here.
Yeah.
We just figured it's here, we're going to sit on it. And for a friend who's getting it, we're sitting on it.
Yes. So some of the video responses, we are going to get to those, some of the questions that were asked and everything like that. But yeah, we just want to do a shout out video, say hello to everybody, miss y'all. And...
Oh, we're blowing kisses? Oh, I thought you blew a kiss.
No.
But let's do this.
Yeah, but yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up. Things are finally coming down for the year. And yeah, we're getting to the divination, so if you requested something, if you emailed us, we're getting to those. So don't worry, we on it.
We remember you.
Yeah.
And you know who you are. Wow, that was really creepy the way you did that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we just finished up some magic work, and
we have time before I have to go to work.
Yeah, it was just regular work.
Work.
But yeah, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate. If not,
happy day.
Yeah.
Happy day. Can I get a blessed be?
Blessed be.
But yeah, we didn't have a topic. We just...
No, I just want to say hi, touch everybody's faces. You. It sounded wrong.
Unless you're cute, then. That sounds even worse.
It does.
We sound like ladies of the evening.
Yeah. Oh, that candle fell off the thingy again. I gotta fix that. So, but yeah.
Got that candle.
Yeah. One question that got brought up was, what happens if you attract somebody that you're not into? Breaking the love spells.
Oh, that could be our topic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hillers are done.
Yeah. So you've attracted somebody and you're not really into them, or you did a love spell on them.
And now they're getting annoying, you want to get rid of them, or it's not what you wanted.
Yeah, it happens. It's happened to me.
It's happened to me.
How did you deal with it?
I did a breakup spell and then I cursed them because they got on my nerves.
That's rough, but okay.
Well, because they originally left, and I was like, no. It's over when I say it's over. So I brought them back, and then they started just getting on my nerves, and then I did a breakup spell, and then I just cursed them. But what is your opinion on breakup spells?
It all depends on the situation. With me, a lot of times if I had to do breakup spells, it's usually just if the relationship gets weird or they become very stalkerish, and now I'm just not feeling it anymore, or then it's time to change things.
Change where you meet people.
Yeah.
Would be a good place.
But there have been instances where I've done work to attract people and I didn't necessarily want them. Or I've done love spells where it's like to bring me a new person, and I brought back exes, and I'm just like, nope, we're not doing that.
Were you specific about it being a new person?
Yeah, in my case I wasn't.
Yeah. Be specific. If you don't want an ex coming back, say a new love, a new person.
So, and if you want to attract someone specific, you got to, this is where, some of the karmic influences take place, because it's all action versus reaction. You're going to get everything, all of their drama, stuff like that. Just because it has a pretty package, don't mean that the contents are any good.
Mm-hmm. Think about it. I like to think of everything like you have to go within a balancing factor, just like Anton LaVey said. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite ways that he put it was, you can't be butt ugly and expect a movie star to be swooning over you.
Yeah.
You have to balance things out. It's like physics. You're not putting enough energy in for that, and it's kind of hard to generate that enough.
To attract somebody new.
No, to attract somebody like a movie star.
Yeah.
Whenever you're homely.
Yeah. Not saying that you're homely.
We're not calling you guys homely. I'm just saying, like, don't bring down yourself with not getting a result based on what you were shooting for.
Yeah, you can't expect filet mignon and caviar when you keep going to
McDonald's.
Exactly.
Yeah. So a lot more goes into it than just the work. So if you're wanting something to last, I'd say start out as a friend with them, do friendship spells, and then work your way up. Because if you just do a love spell, then you're going to have to keep up with the work and make sure that you're maintaining it, and then it's just becomes a chore.
Yeah, and this is where intention gets a lot of people in trouble. I was like, well, I intended it to turn out different. Really, Queen?
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's not what happened, but that's nice.
Yeah. Intentions can be the biggest problems in the world.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. Go ahead, Mitch. She's like, oh, I want to be in the video. Come here.
Munchy.
Yeah.
Shady.
So she's like, what are you doing? That's my spot. But, whenever I've attracted somebody that had just turned out to be bad, and you can see her tail on the camera. There's just this little tail sticking out. But whenever I've done anything like that, usually what I'll do is I'll stop the work altogether. And just let nature take its course. Usually they'll, unless you've bound them to you, then it's, you're kind of stuck with them until you unbind them. Sometimes people will do like binding spells using poppets, runes or something.
Potatoes.
To get the person to stay stuck with them. And then they end up burying it somewhere, and then they're like, I got somebody that I wasn't intending, and now I don't know what to do, and they're getting weird. I'm
kind of stuck with that. That's why, like, if you're doing like a binding spell, keep it close. Like, don't put it like where they're gonna find it. Keep it in like a rafter in the roof or something. Old shoebox in the back of the closet.
Yeah. One spell that and I've done this work for clients too, where they end up, attracting what they wouldn't necessarily want, but that's on their part because they write their own petitions. And they're like, oh, I attracted somebody, now I don't really want them anymore because they're kind of psycho, or they have all this baby mama drama, or all this baby drama, or all this parental drama and stuff like that. Mojo, don't even think about it. You knock that camera off home and that drop kick you, and you're big.
No, girl. Ooh. She's like, what?
Yeah.
That was like, she called you out. Yeah.
Like, But yeah, that's what usually happens. In most cases. Very rarely, if you're working on a specific person,
does it work out?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily work out. You kind of got to keep the person in this, in a stupor. You really, really, really have to like the person.
And not give a crap about it. Like, you need to be like the crazy ex-girlfriend.
So, so caution is, definitely one of those things. And we talk about owning up to your work a lot. We've both done work where it's like, whoops, didn't think that would turn out that way, but oh well, lesson learned.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a little while to see the lessons and to see what's being presented there. A lot of times I've seen where I've done work to bring somebody specifically to me, and then I meet somebody who is everything that I wanted.
And you're like, oops.
Whoops. And I don't want to be like, just jump from that person to this next person, and then you look kind of shady, so you want to be careful with that.
You don't want to look like a homie hopper.
So when it comes to stuff like that, before you do any type of love spells, or any type of work in general, I always recommend doing a divination or having somebody do a divination for you, because if you're emotionally caught up in your divinatory work, you're going to
have the 5 of Swords, Death, and like 9 of Swords, and 5 of Wands. You're going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to turn out good. We're going to party. We're going to get over things.
Yeah, see somebody who's reputable and knows what they're doing, and have them, do the divination for you. I know when it comes to me doing love spells in the past, I've always been like, well, it'd be the outcome if I were to do this, and it's just like, okay, it's all coming out all happy and positive and everything like that, but a person's a douchebag. So, yeah, that's when you Now, magic can't change a person.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it does change them, it's usually just a temporary temporary fix. So the rest of the change, actually has to be on your part. And there's a thing I say, that I learned when I was practicing Buddhism. Your internal environment is a reflection of your external environment, meaning everything that's going on inside of you is going to be reflected into the world around you. So if you have a lot of problems and a lot of drama, try to figure out where that is and start cutting that stuff off so it no longer affects you and you can move forward with your life. And love spells and relationships kind of work the same way. So, but, usually when you get something that you don't necessarily want, you're kind of stuck with it for a while, and you just kind of either write it out or you can do the work to get rid of the person and send them off on their way. So, what about you?
Me, I personally think people are going to do whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit here and tell them about our experiences and why we would not recommend something, but experience, in my opinion, is probably the best teacher.
Yes.
With me, with love spells, if you're going to do one, do it, but don't lie about it. Don't say, oh, I don't do that. Admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Go with it. It's your work, own it. Don't lie and say, I never do that. That's like one of the things that just gets me. It's like a pet peeve, and I'm standing there sometimes and I'm like, I know you. You told me about that spell you did, but you're going to lie in front of all these people. I'm not going to say anything in public, but I'm going to be like, you're a liar, after we leave.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do a love spell, own it. Make sure to do the divination so that we don't mess yourself up after.
Mm-hmm.
As far as breakup spells, if you're going to break them up or break other people up, do it, but you got to handle consequences, especially if there are other witches and who know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They can mess you up.
Yeah. I've seen some people do work too, to the point where, one party practically goes crazy. Like the target will just like, ugh.
Oh, kind of like the love spells.
Yeah, love spells have a tendency to do that with a person. And the way I've always seen love spells work is that it doesn't change the person or make them fall in love with you. It makes you more attractive to them.
Mm-hmm.
So...
That's why, you'll wear the oil, you'll wear the powder, you'll carry that with you.
Mm-hmm. And, usually the changes are temporary. It's not a permanent type thing. Especially if you're working on someone specific. It's that, even if they're like a complete opposite of you, it might work out for a while, but eventually the universe will balance itself back out. Nature does the same thing too.
Yeah. Now, with some spells that get kind of invasive would be like the lonely soul spells, the cockroach spells, the classic Amares with Santissima. Most of those call upon different spirits and entities to torment the person until they're subjugated to your will. You're basically cursing them and breaking them down until they can't deny you. That just is like an unhealthy relationship. I'm not saying that I'm against it. I've done it before, but it's kind of unhealthy.
Yeah, and do you want somebody to love you for who you are, or because you forced them?
Yeah.
It's called spiritual rape.
It's rapey, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even if you yell surprise beforehand.
Yeah, it's still rape.
Yeah. It's seriously messing with a person's, psyche, messing with their free will and everything like that. And like everything, there's action and consequence.
We're not saying that there's a safety hall monitor. We're saying that it's going to come back at you threefold. Just, you might break them down. Something can cause them to snap, and they can become abusive, maybe. Yeah. They're boring. They walk around like a zombie. Could be another one. They're obsessed. They stalk you is another.
Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes it works out, but if you're doing the work to bring somebody who's wandered off from you, that's where you really need to question your relationship and if it's what you want, because this person already bounced out on you already.
They're probably going to bounce again.
Mm-hmm.
It was that easy the first time, second and third time. Once is an instance for some people, but definitely can become hobbies.
Yeah. So whenever somebody just decides to bounce out on you and you're like, oh no, I love this person, and no, me and them have to be together. Oh no, but we have a life together. You had a life together.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the evolution of life.
Remember that death card thing we talked about?
Mm-hmm. And you can always do work to bring you better circumstances with what it is that you're wanting.
Mm-hmm.
In cases like that where I've been so heartbroken and forlorn, I actually just do healing work or cleansing work on myself so I can get over it. And it happens. You can do the same thing with friendships. So you're really close friends with somebody and it just comes to an end, but you still missed a person or you missed their company, all kinds of stuff like that. That's when you want to do cleansing spells. do some cleansing work for yourself. Sever the ties that are between the two of you guys. With some clients that go through that, I usually, when I have clients that, do that, I usually tell them, I was like, you can get somebody better who's going to treat you better instead of what you had. Remember, the best revenge in life is to live better.
Make them irritated with you.
Then they'll be like, oh no, they're like this and they're like that. And I was like,
I should have stayed. And then you could be like, sorry, I'm busy.
yeah, sorry, I found somebody who's going to treat me the way I want to be treated, who's good to me, who's good to the family, who my family likes, and, stuff like that.
What is your opinion on breaking up other people?
My opinion on breaking up with other people, it depends on the situation. It's one of those situational type things. I've done the work before, but in my case, it's always... I've never done it to somebody who's in a relationship like that I was interested in. Like, oh yeah, they're hot and everything like that, but I could so work with them and everything like that. And like, no, I'm just going to leave that alone. If they're meant to be, they'll stay together. If we're meant to be, we'll come back in each other's lives one way or another. As for breaking up them because I want them, no, because there's a lot of baggage that's going on there. You're asking for a whole lot of drama and all kinds of craziness like that. And even if they do break up, it's no guarantee that they're going to go to you. They could go to somebody else.
No, not necessarily to get them, but because you just don't like them. I like to think of it as if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, just breakup spells literally a curse.
Yeah.
But I've been in situations where people have asked me to break them up because they weren't happy. And so I've done the work, but the way I do the work is for like a peaceful separation, so that it minimizes drama.
Who was it that wrote the little book on candle magic?
Conway.
Yes. She has a really good breakup spell that's really soft. It doesn't get super crazy. Usually it goes into a mutual breakup. Usually. Everyone's different. But I remember like the end of it, because I've done it for people before. It's like peacefully they walk, or X and X walk away, no pain or sorrow remain. Peacefully they live their lives, never return again. Yeah. Works.
Yeah, and I've had to do those type of spells where I'll get 2 poppets, consecrate one for each individual, put a cord between the 2 of them, and I usually start them off bound, and then I'll like slowly roll them away further and further and further. So I do, it depends on what I want, So if I want it to be a mutual breakup, I'll roll them away together. If I want one person to leave the relationship, I'll roll them away further and further while the other poppet stays stationary. And then I'll just like sever the cords. And then I'll just like wrap that poppet up in what's left of their half, and then I'll wrap the other person up in their half of the ribbon or the yarn, whatever I'm using, and I'll take it to a crossroads. And then I'll like leave the poppet hanging there, or I'll leave it there sitting on the ground. And the way I use crossroads is I like to use the one that's shaped like a Y, not the 4-way. That way
He likes the 3-way, not the 4-way.
Yeah. That way it represents people going down separate paths, and like, okay, you go here, and then this other person's poppet.
Go there.
Yeah, you can go that way, or I'll keep that other person's poppet, and then I'll deconsecrate it once the separation's begun. So, but that's usually how I've done the work. In my case, where I've had to actually do the work to break up with people, I've done simple moving spells. Those are always fun, just to get the person to move. Surprisingly, they work really well.
I'm a big fan of using candles. I've rarely used stones, but I did get a result. One of my favorite ones involves a candle and making a packet. And I'll use things like black salt, separation oil, sulfur, and putting their pictures in it, but back to back instead of face to face. Wrap it in the black yarn or thread after I anoint it with all of the things I said. And then I'll put it in a brown paper bag, wrap that up, and then I'll burn brown candles on top of it, because that's, to me, brown is a color of poop. You're wanting it to go downhill, you're wanting it to go bad. This is more of like a curse. I'm not going to say what I use, but I do use Bible verses for that. And then I'll get rid of it in very specific places. Now, there was a witch in Albuquerque, no longer works at that store, shady, who would use apples to break people up. And they would put it into a jar and fill it up with graveyard dirt, their names, things like that. And they would put a bunch of honey and motor oil. And then they would shake it and roll it every day until the apple rotted.
Yeah. One spell that I've used, and this is because I ended up with a couple of stalkers, or people who just didn't want to leave even though the relationship was over. So I took a jar, Just a regular mason jar, nothing too big. Make sure it has a metal lid on top. And I'll write the name of the person on a piece of parchment. And usually I write it backwards. Stick that into the jar. I'll fill it with stuff that's hot and spicy, like chili pepper.
It's like hot footing them.
Yeah, it's basically hot footing them. And I actually came across this spell because I had a stalker a few years back, and I was getting really stressed out about it. I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I wasn't out of the closet yet. And
you're like, girl.
Yeah, this person would come to my place constantly and follow me around. It was very weird and very scary. So one day I was like, Goddess, please, I need some help. Help me, please.
As Mojo sits there, judges you as she looks at you.
Yeah. So I just happened to turn on the radio when I was at work, and these two DJs, who were from like Utah, was in a border town up northern Arizona, were like talking about witchcraft. And I was like, oh, a spell to get rid of somebody, and they give the recipe for the spell. And so it was just a jar with a metal lid, chili, hot foot powder. You can put thorns in there, nails, needles, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And so I did that, put a person's name in there, filled it up with vinegar, sealed the top of it, and I lit a black candle on top of the jar. So then I just let that burn down, and I just said a little chant. And my chant was very generic. It was like, so-and-so, go away, do not come my way.
Leave this place, you cannot stay.
Yeah, something along those lines. And then I just let that burn down. And so afterwards, I just took after the candle burned out, I took the bottle to a river, and then I just tossed it into the river. Now be careful because it's considered pollution, and if you do it in a park or anything like that, you can actually get in trouble.
Don't go to jail, people.
Yeah, you can also take the jar to a Crossroads if you don't have any water or lakes near you, or you can just toss it in a trash can because trash eventually gets buried. And so it just causes the person to go away. Funny thing with that spell is after I did it, a few days later I heard the person got tossed into jail.
Oops.
But, yeah, not for stalking me, but for something completely unrelated.
Hey, they got away.
Mm-hmm. So, they got away from me, and I ended up moving. I was like, yay, spell worked. And I've had to do a spell another time when an ex didn't want to leave. And we were living together, and I was just like, I'm done, I can't do this no more. And so, I put like hot foot powder all over everything, but it was still taking a while for it to work. And I didn't do a love spell on this individual in the beginning. It was just like, okay. It was just a fluke relationship that started, and this person had some issues, a lot of issues. They had a subscription.
It's like an election now.
So I did the spell, I did some tweaking on it, and I tossed it into a little waterway, for the sewage, and, carried the person away. And I told the spell when I toss it, spirits make this person leave within the week. Dropped in the water, left, and I didn't look back. So about literally 7 days later, we were still living together, and I was just like, I want you to leave, and it was making my home very uncomfortable. So I get a text message, and like, hey, call me, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, I decided that I want to go ahead and move. A friend of mine's going to help me go. So they're going to be coming by tomorrow to help me pick up my stuff. Like, you can take your stuff now. So, that person's gone, out of my life, thank the goddess. And that's how that worked. So, but if you're doing spells and you no longer feel the same way over that individual, that's normal. What happens? People fall out of love all the time. But do the work and own up to it. Mm-hmm. So if the person gets all crazy and psycho on you, call the cops.
Mm-hmm. Don't be shady, be a lady.
Mm-hmm. And throwing shade on Facebook, very immature. Just do the work and just be done with it. You want to walk away with dignity, especially when it comes to situations like this.
Especially with some people, sometimes they build, especially some people that have done love spells, and they built their lives together. Like, I know a few people back in Albuquerque, they did love spells. They attracted the person, immediately jumped into a marriage. 2 months later, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This isn't what I wanted. And they tried saying it was all their fault, but I'm like, when two people are in it, and either you're both a part of it or someone's being a culprit and it needs to be owned up to. Walk away with a little bit of dignity. If you messed up, just like with doing spells, own it.
Mm-hmm.
Be proud. You put your foot there and you were like, girl.
Yeah, seriously. That's part of being a responsible magician, witch, sorcerer. Even if you're just new or practicing with stuff, be careful what you conjure. What's that saying?
Don't banish what you can't.
Don't conjure what you can't banish.
Don't summon what you can't banish.
Exactly. Love goes the same way.
Mm-hmm. What's love got to do? Got to do with it?
Apparently not much.
Apparently not much, or sometimes it's everything.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, people fall in love all the time. For somebody who wants to maintain a relationship and, you know, things are still getting crazy and hectic, try lighting a peaceful home candle. See what's going on. Do a divination. Find out what the cause of everything is.
Keep your house clean.
Yes. Now, you know, especially if your house is really dirty and messy, you know, energy that gets stagnant gets gross and
it's
builds
like
up.
a dirty dam. All that water gets thick.
Yeah, same goes for the outside of your home. If you live in an apartment complex, you know, clean the inside the best you can and just fortify and protect it.
Mm-hmm. Keep that barrier strong.
Yeah. If you have somebody who's interfering in your relationship, you know...
Talk about it with your partner.
Yeah.
Why beat around the bush if there's nothing to worry about and you're both good? Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and Brian, we talk about it.
Yeah, someone throws a shade, I'm like, we're on it.
I'm like, did you see that? Ooh, girl. And
Yeah.
then he's like, I'm like,
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
It usually goes one of two ways. Like, either he's really calm and I'm really irritated, like, oh, give me a dirty look one more time. Or it goes into, hey, did you see his ass? And he's like...
Yeah, but, you know, if you're, you know, have other people interfering in your relationship, then, you know, do protection work for your, you know, relationship.
Do reversing work.
Yeah, reverse whatever negativity is being sent at you back to them. You know, hopefully they learn their lesson. You know, I don't want to hurt anybody or curse anybody.
Get over it. They don't give a damn if they ruin your life.
Yeah. And besides that, with reversing work, it just, you know...
If they're not doing anything, they don't got anything to worry about. Yeah,
it reverses negativity that's being sent back. If somebody's trying to mess with your relationship by trying to woo your significant other, I'm all for, like, you know, you brought it on yourself. Sorry about it, but...
You refuse to do anything.
Yeah.
And don't wait until the last minute and then get mad and say, magic doesn't work. Why isn't it working? When you've had chances before they actually acted on anything.
Yeah, I had one client who ended a relationship and came to me for a reading and wanted to know if they were going to be fine. I told him, I was like, yeah, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. But be careful what you do. And he's like, well, I can go out there and be a big old hoe and stuff like that. And I'm like, I wouldn't do that, but it's up to you. It's your life. Mm-hmm. And later on, regretted ending the relationship and went to a couple of other readers. Well, came to me again, and I told him, I was like, nope, this relationship is done. This person's not going to take you back or anything. So they went to go see another reader, and then another reader, and then another reader. Go looking
for $500.
Yeah, I see it a lot.
Back to
where they've, you know, they got the answer that they wanted to hear, and then they acted on it, and they just made complete asses out of themselves. And now they're like, I don't believe in psychics. And I was like, hey, you went to go see charlatans. I told you what it was all about. Mm-hmm. So, don't blame me for your poor life choices, and don't blame somebody else for your bad decisions. So. Own up to it. Do the work. You know, if you feel that you want the person back in your life after you get rid of them, you know, make sure you're not destroying their life in the process. If you really love an individual, you're not going to do something like that. You're going to want them to be happy. You know, that sort of deal.
Have you ruined it? You should have thought that through.
Yeah. And besides that, you can always bring somebody better to you. Mm-hmm. But I've also seen a lot of times too, I can't live without so-and-so.
One of the biggest excuses that gets on my nerves is, I didn't mean to cheat on them. What'd you do, trip and fall on it?
Seriously.
Oh, and then if it's a repeated thing, I didn't mean to, really? Sneaking out and going over there, you didn't mean to, no. Mm-hmm. Hiding things, yeah, totally didn't mean to.
Yeah.
They didn't mean to cheat on me. I don't think they really care right now either, but they're over there right now.
Yeah, sometimes you can do the work if you can actually do the work to bring a person back in most cases, but it's a lot of work, and most likely the person will just wander off again. That's the pattern that I've seen with a lot of people.
I like to say water seeks its own level. Mm-hmm. What? Water seeks its own level.
Yeah. So be careful when you do the conjuring and with the love spells, and if you get something that you don't want, be
honest, get rid of it.
Yeah, if you did a love spell, there's a couple of books out there that have how to break spells. You know, and usually it's just gathering the material that we used, if you still have them, and then destroying them and deconsecrating everything and setting everything back into its natural order.
If you don't have it, something else you can do is perform the same spell backwards.
Yeah. One thing that I've done in the past too is I've actually, if I'm low on tools, I'll carve my name on a candle and the other person's name on the candle going opposite directions. And I'll light my candle with my portion on top of it, and then I'll just grab it and snap it. The bond that he was here, now broken be, separate, will go down our own destiny and snap it without blowing out the candle. Put the top half, which is mine, on into its own holder, set theirs in another one, and light it. So that,
You can put things like black salt in between it, a line of it. You can leave scissors
Yes.
in between them. You can leave your bowling. You can leave your athlete. You can do ritual gestures to separate any ties.
How much have we got?
I don't know.
Okay, we're about 30 minutes, so.
Oh wow, that's good.
So we'll go ahead and post some next videos up again soon. We're going to try to be more consistent with the videos. Remember, like, subscribe, share.
Comment.
If you have any questions?
You can email us, totemroom@gmail.com. Any special order requests, you can go there. Also, our Facebook page, Totem Broom. You can message us there if you don't want to leave it in a comment.
Yeah, or just send us an email, totemroom@gmail.com. We usually get the emails right away. We try to respond to everybody as soon as we get them. If we're out of town, just wait till we get back.
Yeah, sorry about that. That wasn't being sarcastic. We actually are sorry.
Yeah. So we're going to, get up on doing some work and everything like that.
Brrrah.
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 So we'll talk to you guys again later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.